He was the supreme athlete in the light heavyweight division.
That's why I say I'm the king, because I know I'm the best in this weight division.
Who won the UFC belt through knockouts in just a few years.
I've been doing MMA for years. I've been bred in MMA.
But then a series of unfortunate events followed, which did not strengthen him, but did the opposite. It turned him into a sore loser, and Jamahal Hill went from the best in the world to a delusional, hated fighter.
You know, they don't like me personally.
Hardworking, humble, and positive. That's how he was described by people who knew him personally. A gifted athlete who fell in love with MMA and decided to show his potential in the arena. Steel with determination decorated his fighting character, and discovering how good he was with his fists only boosted his confidence. Hill believed in himself, and everyone around him did too. With the support he had, it was hard not to succeed. The kid was an amazing fighter, and one of those who quickly found their way to the UFC. It was not a tough career, just pure dominance on the regional scene. Jamahal Hill was that guy. He got the contract through Dana White's Contender Series with a TKO. And in his debut, he won by a judge's decision, with more decisions than knockouts. Only later did people find out why he's called Sweet Dreams. He wasn't vocal on the mic. Confident, yes. You could tell by his attitude. But this guy was talking in the cage with his skill. As a role model athlete, he was not prone to problems. Jamahal only fell for doping once, but for marijuana, not a big deal. Even when he suffered his first loss when Paul Craig broke his arm early in the first round, he showed toughness. Even after that, Jamahal showed why he wears his nickname. 1, 2, 3 knockouts. And bonuses in the next 3 fights. Hill got a title shot after 6 years in the game, and he beat the hell out of Glover Teixeira to finally realise his dream. He may not be a fan favourite, but the guy didn't give anyone a reason to hate him. However, after the championship, things for Jamahal Hill started going, well, downhill. Fight of the Year 2023 with Glover seemed to be the highlight of his career so far. He was only able to walk as a champion for 5 months because he accidentally tore his Achilles tendon while playing basketball and had to vacate the title. But boy, this wasn't the only accident, but this injury seemed to have a domino effect on Jamahal. For a whole year, he had to sit on the bench and watch Pereira dominate the UFC and take his crown. For a whole year, he had to listen to stories that Alex would knock him out. This didn't sit well with him. Not at all. Hill couldn't help but take the microphone in his hands and promise what all of Alex's opponents did before him. A knockout without the use of wrestling. There's no doubt he wanted it, but Pereira didn't turn out to be his only concern in life. In November 2023, he was arrested for domestic violence against his brother. According to police reports, when you have Poatan as your future opponent, the last thing you need in your life are family problems involving the police and the courts. But Hill deserved to make a comeback fight with Pereira at the legendary UFC 300. What angered the fans was Jamahal's behaviour whenever he met Alex face to face. He was friendly and even asked the Brazilian to sign his hoodie. Unlike the audience, Alex didn't have a problem with him. For him, it was just business. Well, until it was time for the press conference, where Sweet Dreams wasn't very sweet. He made fun of Alex's stony face and showed an insolence he didn't have in person. Before entering the cage, when Alex had his unique bow and arrow entrance, Jamahal waved him into the cage and pretended to break the arrow that Alex was shooting. When they were facing each other, he tried to touch a glove, but Poatan had none of it. Instead, Jamahal got knocked out in the first round for the first time ever, and it happened after he delivered a low blow to Alex's sacred temple. Remember how he acted after his first loss? Well, what followed was completely different from it. Hill lost a lot of fans with his delusions in the aftermath, looking for excuses for the knockout and downplaying Alex's victory. However, he got a new opponent for January 2025. He believed this victory would put him in a rematch against Poatan, but that was the main problem. Alex Pereira was all he could think about. that was not all desirable during the preparation for someone like Jiri Prochazka. Instead of preparing for a man who makes a living by knocking people out, he decides to, well, see for yourself.
For free? For free? For free?
Jamahal did everything he could to prove himself a superior man, but with every situation, he got the opposite effect. However, when he needed to show it against Jiri, he didn't exactly shine. He did put up a fight though, reminding us what kind of fighter he really is. But Prochazka was too much for him. After the first round, Hill had a black eye and a bloody nose. Entering the third round, they were even. And then Jiri did what he does best, walking people down and knocking them out. Jamahal was once a light heavyweight force, but he dug his own grave with the decisions he made. The reality check must have been terrible for him.